everybody, it's Hailey and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you guys something that I've been extremely excited to produce for you guys really ever since I started my channel earlier in the year, and it's finally something that fits in with the times because everybody is migrating into new journals for 2019, and I have been using this journal for one whole year, and it's finally a time that I can say I can give a full review on its ups, its downs, its pros, its cons, everything that has happened in 2018, and let you guys know if I think this would work for you guys in the new year. So getting started, this is the Northbooks A5 Hardcover Journal. I got it from Amazon for Christmas last year. I believe it was around $10 or $12, which is definitely on the cheaper side for dotted journals. I know most of the high quality ones are around $20 to $25, which isn't that much to pay if you're only going to pay it once in the year, but it was definitely nice to get something that wasn't as expensive because it was my first year of journaling. I was just starting out and I honestly didn't know whether I was going to continue with it for the entirety of the year, so not having to worry about too many costs adding up and stuff and then being put to no use is pretty nice for me, so that's a pro for somebody who's beginning. The biggest thing that I'd say I probably should address first is my biggest complaint with this journal. Over the year, it has gathered a lot of wear and tear, so I don't know how well you can see it on camera, but right here is where the journal is falling apart from the cover, and it also is happening in the back. That's where it happened first. It's probably more difficult to see because I did a better job fixing it back here, and that's where it started first, but I know that I first noticed it in late freshman year, so I'd say it's probably late April to mid-May that it started happening, which is maybe 5 months into the use of it. It started coming away from the cover of the book. I've tried gluing it right here using hot glue. I've tried taping it. The tape tends to come up a lot, but I've used some heavy duty tape here, sort of, so it's not as bad. And here the glue has held on pretty well because I don't open up to the back as much. But it has definitely been something I'm really cautious to keep in mind and stuff like that because this is my first journal. It holds a lot of great memories of my first year of high school and the beginning of my second year, and it's definitely something I want to keep for a long time, so knowing that it's falling apart is definitely a big concern, not to mention just the fact that it's falling apart, and if something's broken you can't really use it anymore. But I wouldn't recommend it to anybody who's bringing it to school every day or to work every day if you're pulling it out of your bag and it's going to get jostled around. I did, like I said, I do have this cover that I started using once it started falling apart a little bit, but I don't know how much it's been able to protect it because I did start putting other measures and tape in place to correct it, so I don't really know how much that's going to protect even if you do start from the beginning. So that's my number one thing that I wanted to put out there. But getting into it, then you see that you have this little title page here where you can write your name in, but then it starts immediately into dotted notebook pages, which is really what I was happy with last year. I know that some of the more expensive books do give you something like an automatic page for a key and 3 already put in pages for indexes, and I know some people end up not caring about that because they want to make their own keys and their own indexes, and that's fine. I really didn't mind. I was fine putting everything together myself. I would have been fine not having to put it together by myself, so it wasn't something that bothered me, but I know some people either don't want that or do want that. But in the end, now coming towards the end of the year, I do kind of wish it had given me some place for the key and the index, not because I use these pages, because I don't really use these pages. As you can see, like, I stopped using the index after, I believe, March, but I am running really short on pages, and if they had given me a page for my key and a page for my index, then it wouldn't have taken away from my regular page count, which is my other problem with this journal. I believe it has 194 pages in it in total, which is a lot, and as you can see, it's lasted me throughout the year. I still have some room for a reflection that I want to do, but it has taken a lot of tedious page work and math and stuff like that to figure out how to leave myself these 2 pages for a reflection. I was able to pretty much do everything that I wanted for a good portion of the year. I think it was like 3/4 of the year because in October was when I had to start limiting what I was using, which was kind of a bummer, but everything else I was kind of able to put in, like, oh, I could put in a tracker, I could do every single week that I wanted, and the weeklies could be 2 pages, but once we got to October, it did start becoming a problem for me because I think I only had like 13 pages left or something like that for the last fourth of the year, which was a big bummer because what I had to do was, number one, I had to switch to one-page weeklies, which you can see here. Here's a week, here's a week, here's a week, here's a week. And then the other thing that I did was I had to limit what I was putting into my monthlies. So I would have a title, and then I had this little thing for planning everything coming in the next month and stuff like that. And then I'd have my calendar layout, and those were the things that were really important to me. But then this fun stuff, so like planning for Halloween, I really had to cut down on. And my page of what I'm thankful for and stuff like that, I really had to cut down on, which was a big bummer because that is something that you do like to put into a journal. Your whole point of a bullet journal is that you can put whatever you want in it and it doesn't restrain you from doing anything. And really that's what ended up happening in the end. With December, I was only able to do a title page and a calendar, and December is really the month I was looking forward to. I had the idea that I was going to be able to put all these like gift lists and stuff in there, and it would have been really fun. But now I had to go from calendar to one-page weeklies, and that really was it. So I had to kind of try and find a place for all of my other things, like what am I going to get this person for a gift, what's my Christmas playlist going to be, what gifts do I want for Christmas, all that sorts of fun stuff I was not able to include, which was a really big bummer. So that's unfortunate. But speaking of the pages and pen tests and stuff like that, I really do like the page quality of this journal. As you can see in my pen test pages, there's really no like bleed through at all or ghosting. There's very little ghosting, which is definitely something that matters to me. I'm not somebody who likes to put a ton of art on the pages, so if you're planning on making an entire page black, or if you're planning on using like brush pens all over the page or something, I don't know how well that would work in this, but I do know that over the entire year of using this, I believe it only bled through once or twice, and that was my fault in going over a page too many times. But personally, it doesn't bother me that that one happened, especially because it was my fault. So I mean, occasionally you can see like what happens on the previous page, but it's never distracting or anything like that. It really is just a great journal to work with, and if you look at my pen test pages, which is every single marker or utensil I could have ever used in this journal, nothing bleeds through. You can't see all the different colors of these super tips and brush pens on this page. You can see a small outline of where they were, but it's never distracting or anything, and none of the mild liners show through, and none of my fine liners show through. And the washi tape never does anything bad anyway, but nothing happened with the washi tape, so it was really great to know about that. But other than that, there's not much to say about the journal. I know that some people do have concerns about how visible the dots are or the color of the page. That's not something that ever bothered me. I would say that the pages are a little bit more on the yellowish side because I know they sometimes range from a more yellow page to a very bright white page. I would not say this is a bright white journal, but I'd also not say it's a distracting amount of yellow. It's not like they're stained pages or anything like that. And then in terms of the dots that are shown on the page, they also were not a distraction. I definitely don't think they're the lightest dots of any journal out there. They are definitely a bit more solid and darker gray. I can show you up a little bit closer if you'd like. But again, they don't distract anybody. I think that they could definitely be more solid, and even though when you're looking at a page, even from afar, you can still kind of tell that they're there, it's definitely helpful in creating everything. It's never difficult to see, even when the lights are kind of dimmer, so I kind of like that. But really, that's all I have to say about this journal. I really have loved working with it, even though it has been kind of deteriorating a little bit and I've had to deal with the page limits. I think it is definitely a good quality journal in terms of the pages and everything like that. Would I recommend it for people? I don't know if I'd recommend it for people who have already been doing bullet journaling for a while, if they kind of know what they're doing, if they're not really experimenting anymore. I mean, you're always experimenting with bullet journaling because it's all about what you want, but it's definitely something that can fall apart in a matter of time. If you're bringing it to school every day, like I use it for an assignment notebook, so I need to bring it to school every day, I don't know if it's the best choice for you. Overall, I'd say it's probably a 5 or 6 out of 10 because I really have have loved using it. That might be a little bit more of emotional attachment playing into my rating, but I really have loved it, and I think the page quality is great. And even with all my flaws, I know they have been updating it a little bit in terms of what I've seen from their product on Amazon. So I don't know if they've solved any of the problems that I've been talking about because I haven't gone in depth enough. And for such a cheap price, I think if you're definitely not certain about what you want in your journal and you're not certain that you're going to keep going with it, if you think you're just going to use it for maybe 6 months, then this is definitely a good choice for you. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you guys next time. To be a typical YouTuber, don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye!